should be taught from the time that we're in kindergarten how to take care of our bodies, what's going on inside of our body. Instead, we get diagnosed, we get labeled with this disease, and we are told that there's no hope, and we're told that there's nothing we can do about it, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It's all a big fat lie. It is one big virus. Once every 3-4 months, I open up enrollment to the MS community on school. Take this information this week, absorb it all, and if you want to go it alone, great, you have all the information. If you're the type who's like, you know what, I didn't absorb everything, I need to do it with a group, I need a place where I can ask questions, there's an MS Rebellion community on school that you can join, and I open up enrollment a couple times a month. This is that week where I open up enrollment. So every time I open up enrollment, I make it a lot less expensive than if you were to join not during a workshop week. So it's only $67 a month, and you get a free trial, a free 7-day trial. So you can go in, check it out. Don't like it, fine, get out, and never be charged anything. My name is Janine Padro, and I am an MS consultant. I am not a doctor. I am just somebody who healed from MS and figured out how to do it, and now I teach other people how to do it. I'm not a doctor, and my disclaimer legally says don't listen to a word I say. In fact, run the opposite direction. So there's your out. But if you are interested in knowing how to get rid of MS symptoms, that's what I'm going to take you through this week. I'm going to take you through first today the why. Why do I have symptoms? Because you can't kill what you don't know that's there. So today we're going to talk about the Epstein-Barr virus, and don't worry about taking notes, because as long as you're registered and I have your email address, as soon as I get a chance today, it will be today, you'll get an email with my book, MS Healing, the Epstein-Barr Connection, and it's going to have not only this information that I give you in the next 45 minutes, but it's going to have a whole shit ton of information right there in a book for you to take notes in. It's a PDF, print it out, whatever. But it has all of this information. So that's your invitation to just sit back, relax, absorb this information, hopefully be wowed, and then tonight you'll receive the book, and we'll have all of this information plus. What is the one massive lie that you have been told since your MS diagnosis? Well, the fact that your body is attacking itself. That's what they told you. They said the fact is your body is attacking itself and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, that's not the case. Your body is not attacking itself. Your body has been protecting you from day one, and it will continue to protect you. And it's protecting you from a virus, from all viruses. But the virus that's causing these symptoms, these MS symptoms, is called the Epstein-Barr virus. And I'm sure you've heard it's all over the news now about how Epstein-Barr may be responsible for MS. We've been talking about it for years here. So what I want to do is go through the stages so you can see in yourself a little bit of what's been going on your entire life, connect the dots, and start making some changes. And then the rest of the week we'll go through what to do, what to eat, what not to eat, how to eat so that you don't feel deprived. We'll go through that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Friday I'll open it up to questions, and we'll go through the MS Rebellion. So the Epstein-Barr virus goes through 4 stages. The first stage, you don't know you have it. The first stage is you come in contact with someone who is contagious, and you contract it. It gets in through saliva, through the liquids that excrete from your body. And that's why they call it the kissing disease, because one of those liquids is saliva. But you can get it in a number of different ways. In fact, a lot of times it gets passed through the birth canal. So if your mother had an autoimmune disease, and then she had the Epstein-Barr virus, and 95% of the people in the world have the Epstein-Barr virus. Now, you're thinking, well, then why don't 95% of the people in the world have MS or an autoimmune disease? And we'll get into that a lot more later. The last 2 chapters of the book that I'm going to send you tonight, that really dives in. So stage 1, you contract it, you don't even know it. And when it gets into your body, the first thing it hits is your bloodstream. That's when you can find it. That's when a blood test will reveal it. But you don't have any symptoms, so you don't know to get tested. You don't know to do anything. What it's doing in that time is it's just replicating itself. It's getting a lay of the land. What's over here? Where are my food sources? What's going on? And it's just gaining strength. All right, so it's getting a lay of the land. It's in your body. It's strengthening yourself. You don't know you have it. That can last a year or years or decades. There's over 65 different strains of the virus, ranging from very mild to very aggressive. So however long it takes is going to depend on you and the strain that you have, and you don't know that. So that's why you can come in contact with it. Two people can come in contact with it. One person gets sick right away, the other person doesn't. That's why it's different in every single person, because every single body is different. Stage 2 of the virus is when it saw an opportunity to launch its attack. It saw an opportunity, you were at a weak point. So think about right before, not before your diagnosis, because you probably have had weird symptoms years before your diagnosis. Maybe haven't, but right before symptoms started, what was going on in your life? Was there some god awful trauma? Was there just some light trauma, if there's a thing? Was there something going on? Was there the death of a family? Was there a car accident? Was there some kind of big moment in your life that was happening right before symptoms started? So from stage 1 to stage 2 can last a really long time, but once you're in stage 2, that is generally called the mononucleosis stage. Not everybody knows that they have mono, because remember, I'm going to be saying this a lot, 65 different strains going from very aggressive to very mild. If you have one of the more mild strains, you're not even going to know that you have mono. If you have one of the more aggressive ones like I did, you're going to end up in middle school in the hospital for 2 weeks with mono. The first time that happened, I was in 6th grade. I had mono. 2 weeks, and then I was sent home and homeschooled for 3 months, and then after that I went back to school for a couple weeks, relapsed, and then was homesick for 3 months. No energy. They called it chronic fatigue. They said we don't know what's wrong with her. And then again in 8th grade when it happened, they said her white blood cells are off the chart. We don't know what's wrong with her. It looks like mono, but you don't normally get it twice. So if anything like that happened to you in middle school or high school, mono isn't always the label. Sometimes it's a mystery illness that just keeps you in bed. Let's check the comments here. Say me in the comments if any of this has happened to you in middle school or high school. A lot of people I talked to it happened in high school. So that's stage 2, mono. What happens after mono is you go to the doctor, you're like, all right, doc, I'm feeling better. They take more blood and they go, oh yeah, look, your blood tests are clear, you're fine. The mono is gone. What they're just now discovering in the last 7, 8 years is that mono, the Epstein-Barr virus that causes mono, Epstein-Barr doesn't ever go away unless you know how to kill it, and we're going to get into that. It leaves your bloodstream. In stage 2, when you have mono, it's in your bloodstream. Your immune system can see it, and that's why you're sick, and that's why you have mono. But in stage 3, it leaves your bloodstream and it heads for an organ. And here's the important part. Whatever organ your virus decides to live in your body, that's going to give you a collection of symptoms. That's going to take you to the doctor. That's going to give you a label. That label is going to be one of an autoimmune disease. So for us, with people diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, ours is in our spleen and in our livers. If it decided to take residence up in your thyroid, you're going to get Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, some kind of hyperthyroidism. Let's say Crohn's disease, that means it's living in your gut, it's loving the gut. Any autoimmune label is caused by where the Epstein-Barr virus decided to live in your body. How does it determine where to live? Well, it looks for food. The Epstein-Barr virus is a virus. It's a living organism. It needs to eat. It needs food sources. So it goes throughout your body. Remember, it was taking a lay of the land in stage 1. Stage 2, it launched its attack. And in stage 3, it goes, this place is a great place for me to live. Look at all this food. Look at all these heavy metals and toxins and chemicals, right? So that's where it decides to live. That's going to give you a certain set of symptoms. That's going to take you to the doctor, and that's when you're going to get diagnosed. So for people who have multiple sclerosis, if diagnosed with that label, it's in our spleen and it's in our liver, and that absolutely can be cleaned out. Now, the ultimate goal of the Epstein-Barr virus is to ride your nervous system, because your nervous system is the freeway to all of your organs, to the buffet that is your body. The Epstein-Barr virus wants to ride the nervous system and visit all of the organs and have a feeding frenzy. It's a living organism. It has survival skills, it has survival needs. And that's why later on, after you've been diagnosed with MS for years, sometimes decades, you'll get diagnosed with fibromyalgia. You'll get diagnosed with a second autoimmune disease or rheumatoid arthritis. The body, if it keeps feeding the virus is eventually going to take over the systems of the body. And that is why it is imperative for us to understand what's going on inside of our body. Because only when we understand what it is, then we can make a targeted attack. There's a cofactor to the Epstein-Barr virus. Now that you know the 4 stages and you can kind of see yourself through what was going on throughout your life, Epstein-Barr has a cofactor called streptococcus. Where there's Epstein-Barr, there's strep. Strep is going to travel north or south in your body. Very few times does it do both, but I've seen it in both areas. But you'll know when it travels north, that's usually the most common. You get strep throat, get big tonsils, sinus infections your entire life. Even if you've never got strep throat and it's just sinus infections all the time, that's the streptococcus bacteria. That is a bacteria. Epstein-Barr is a virus. Cofactors, best friends. Where there's one, there's the other one. They feed off of one another. If the streptococcus virus travels south in the body, that's when you're going to get bladder infections, UTIs, chronic all the time. That's actually the streptococcus bacteria that has traveled south in your body. All of the MS symptoms are a product of the Epstein-Barr virus either alive or dead. The dead virus itself. Now, Janine, what do you mean dead? The virus only lives, the entire life cycle of the virus is only 6 weeks long. That's it. The whole life cycle of that fucker is 6 weeks long. So it's constantly dying. The dead virus is a neurotoxin and it's a dermatoxin. So it's going to be toxic to your nervous system and it's going to be toxic to your dermis, your skin. Eczema, psoriasis. Anybody? When I was at my worst with symptoms, I used to say I looked like Jesus Christ himself because the eczema was so bad on my fingertips and right in the middle. It looked like the nail holes driven right through my palms. It's all the dead virus. What happens is we keep feeding the virus. We keep feeding the virus because no one ever told us what feeds the virus, because no one ever knew that the virus was responsible for these symptoms. So what you go through in life is constantly feeding the virus constantly dying, causing a whole new set of symptoms. And up until a certain point, your body can handle it. Your body's like, okay, we can deal with this, but you get more tired, and you don't understand why you're the only one feeling this tired. You look around at everyone around you, if you're anything like me, going, seriously, I don't understand how she felt like going for a run. Who feels like going for a run? I never feel like doing anything. I was tired all the time. Why? Because our immune systems are constantly protecting us and constantly fighting. Now, what is the problem? Why can't the immune system fight the Epstein-Barr virus and get it out just like it can any other virus, like let's say the flu? The flu doesn't ever leave the blood. Flu goes in, your immune system attacks it, takes it a little while to draw out the blueprint, but eventually the immune system gets it, attacks it, kills it. You're exhausted for 2 freaking weeks while you're recovering, right? After the symptoms are gone, 2 more weeks of exhaustion, and then you start to get better. This Epstein-Barr virus is a tricky little fucker because it knows how to hide. It knows how to leave the bloodstream. It knows how to hide inside the body. But not only that, it knows how to hide from your immune system. The Epstein-Barr virus produces like a smoke screen to get away from the immune system fighters. Just like an octopus in the ocean inks to get away from its predators, the virus does the same thing. It produces a smoke screen. So once that smoke screen is around it, your immune system knows that it's there, but can't get to it. It can't get to it. So it's constantly on the attack. So do you know how you felt 2 weeks after the flu and how exhausted you were? That's because your immune system was fighting and getting all of that dead virus out of your body. That's what your body is doing all the time with the Epstein-Barr virus. It's constantly looking for it, it's constantly fighting it, it's constantly getting rid of the dead virus. Your lymphatic system is constantly getting clogged up because of all of this dead virus. The Epstein-Barr virus life cycle is 6 weeks long, but in that 6 weeks, because I know a lot of people ask, well, then why do I have symptoms for more than 6 weeks if it dies? Because in that 6 weeks, it constantly replicates itself. Just like the cells in our body replicate themselves, so do viruses. They're live organisms. So they replicate. So when we stop feeding the virus, and that's what we're going to go through on day 2, 3, and 4 of the workshop, when we stop feeding the virus, it weakens. Why is this important? Because when the virus weakens, it cannot produce, it is not strong enough to produce the smoke screen. Once the smoke screen is gone, then the immune system goes, ah, motherfucker, I can see you, and it attacks it and it kills it. And it is your body's job to get that virus out of the body quickly and safely, because remember, the corpse of the virus, the dead virus itself, is a neurotoxin and it's a dermatoxin. So it is going to wreak havoc on your nervous system while it's dead and while your body is working to get it out. Now, it's okay because our bodies are set up to take in toxins and remove them. We have a lot of different filtration systems in our body to help us do that. One of them is the lymphatic system. Just heard a knock. I don't think that's my daughter. We're good. All right. One of them is the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system its job is to carry waste from the cells. When the dead Epstein-Barr virus gets into the lymphatic system, it clogs it up and makes it like sludge. We don't have a pump like we do for our blood. Our heart pumps our blood. We don't have a pump for our lymphatic system. So what happens is everything gets clogged up and then we start feeling worse. Then we go to the doctor and the doctor's like, oh, well, you have MS, so what? I don't know what to tell you. This is just get used to the wheelchair, Janine. There's nothing we can do for you. What I'm about to tell you in these next couple of weeks, this is going to kill the virus. Because it hides so well and because it replicates and because it has all the food sources inside the body, it is going to require a targeted attack on your part to kill this thing. What we do is, I've named the protocol Starve, Kill, Detox because that's what it does. It starves the virus, we kill the virus with our immune system, and then we detox it out of our bodies. The reason why that is so important is because we need to stop feeding the virus at the same time we're flooding our bodies with the antioxidants that are going to build up our immune system. And if you were like me, anytime I heard someone say, oh, you got to build up your immune system, I always thought, oh no, doctor told me I can't build my immune system. My immune system is attacking my body and we don't want it any stronger than it already is. What we now know is that the virus not only hides inside the organs, but it's very smart in that it hides in the B cells of the immune system. It takes cover there. Our immune system recognizes that there is something infected in this cell of the immune system. So the immune system has different tiers. You could think of it as like the police all the way up to the military, all the way up to the Navy SEALs, right? We have all these hierarchies, one's for the common cold and one's for deadly viruses and everything in between. The virus hides inside the B cells, which is a very high level on the hierarchy of our immune system. Our immune system, though, is so smart that the healthy immune fighters recognize that some of the immune fighters are infected with the virus and it begins to attack. When we go to the doctor and we get a MRI, all they can see is the immune on the attack, and it looks like it's attacking tissue, healthy tissue. It looks like it's attacking immune systems. Different hierarchies of the immune system. It's not. What the MRI can't pick up is the virus. So what it sees is the attack of the immune system on what looks like healthy cells, but they're not. They're actually immune system cells that are infected with the Epstein-Barr virus. Also, what the MRI picks up is, let's talk about myelin, because you're like, oh, well, Janine, there's lesions on my myelin. Lesions, first of all, is just a scary name for scars. We all have scars on our myelin. The reason why we all have scars is because we all come in contact with heavy metals. Heavy metals are in our food, they're in the air, they're everywhere. You can't get rid of them, but that's okay. Our bodies are meant and designed to release heavy metals as long as we give our body what it needs to get rid of it. So back to the MRI. Here's your myelin. Here's the heavy metal residing. It's heavy. It's literally heavy. That's why it's called a heavy metal. It resides on the myelin. It settles. The Epstein-Barr virus is floating around your body and goes, ooh, ooh, look at that, food, heavy metals. And it starts feeding. What then comes along over here is your immune system go, Jesus Christ, look at you. And it starts killing the Epstein-Barr virus. Because when the Epstein-Barr virus is feeding, it can't produce the smoke screen. So the immune system can see it. Remember that, because that's what's considered an MS flare. When the Epstein-Barr virus is active, which means it's feeding, you're going to get symptoms. You're going to go to the doctor's going to go, oh yeah, this is an MS flare. Get used to them. That's what my doctor used to always say. Fucker. The MRI only sees this, and it looks like an attack. What the MRI doesn't see is the heavy metal. It doesn't see the Epstein-Barr virus. Your immune system, what you have been seeing, the attack that they call it, is actually your immune system protecting you from the virus. It's been protecting you the entire time. What we need to do is give our bodies all the things it requires in order to naturally get rid of heavy metals, because it can. Our body can get rid of anything that's making us sick. We just need to give it the tools that it needs to do its job. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be day 2. We're going to talk about the morning routine, how to set up your body in the morning to get, we start with the detox. We start detoxing in the morning. The reason why we start with the detox is because when you begin to starve the virus, you're taking away its food source, and you begin to kill it on contact. We're going to talk about that tomorrow too. You're killing it so quickly that you're going to get worse before you get better. And what we want to do is mitigate you getting worse, because you're like, Janine, I don't know if I can feel any worse. I don't know if I can survive getting any worse. Completely understand that, which is why I was the exact same way, which is why I designed this the way I did. We get the detox process working in our bodies first, because when that detox process is flushing and constantly taking out, then as we begin to kill the virus, it has somewhere to go. It has an immediate exit to take, because the river is flowing, the detox pathways are going. That's why we start with the detox. I probably should have called it detox, starve, kill, but we do. We starve, we kill, we detox the body, we detox the virus out of our body. And that's how you're going to get rid of symptoms, because brain fog, you know what brain fog is? It's the dead virus that is just floating around your brain, and your signals can't get through. You can't keep a thought. You can't make sentences. I want to go over real quick the symptoms of the Epstein-Barr virus. I want to go over the symptoms because you're probably going to see like, oh, I was told they were symptoms of something else. I was told they were symptoms of MS. Yeah, it's the same thing. Muscle pain or weakness, joint pain, tingling, numbness in the hands or feet, jerking or spasms, tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears, dizziness, eye floaters, insomnia, hot flashes, night sweats. These are all symptoms of the Epstein-Barr virus. I'm going to send out a recording tonight, and I'm also going to send you the link to my book, The MS Healing, the Epstein-Barr Connection. All of the information plus a lot more detail is in that book. And also what you're going to find are resources to how to get started on the protocol, how to join the community on school. If you want more of this information and you want to go through the healing process with a group of women, there are 41 women in there right now. They're amazing. We started back in June, and tomorrow I'm going to post all of their comments because they wanted you to know a few things if you were on the fence about joining the community. But take your time, digest this information, get started reading on that book tonight. Get your questions together, because tomorrow we're going to be doing the same thing again. We'll go over all of your questions. This is going to be a lot of information, like a shit ton of information, and you're going to easily get overwhelmed if you allow yourself to. This is not something you say, I'm going to kill the virus tomorrow or next week. It's going to be dead. This is a lifestyle change. You're going to, as this information comes up and you understand, oh, I need to change this and I need to change this, you're going to take one thing at a time and you're going to incorporate it into your life. And then when that becomes second nature, you're going to take the next thing. The slower you go on the starve, kill, detox protocol, the slower you go, listen to these words, the faster you will heal. The faster you go, you will crash and burn. There is an upper limit us humans have. We can only take so much change at one time. Once that crash happens, you slide all the way back to square one, and sometimes even a little bit further than square one, and you have to start all over again. I usually save this for the end of the workshop, but I want to say it throughout because I want everyone to understand this is not something that you just do tomorrow. You absorb the information, you assess your life. Where can you make changes? Where can you add a little bit more? Where can you make time for yourself? Because that is the hardest thing as women, making time for ourselves, making time for us to do something instead of doing something for somebody else, husband, partner, kids, family, whatever it is. We always think that we'll be fine, we'll just do us later, and later never comes. This protocol requires you to put you first all of the time. That in and of itself is a practice that is going to take time, and it might take you a community. There are tons of women on here who are like, nope, don't need a community, I'm good on my own, I'd rather do it by myself. Great. But if you're not, if you're the type of woman who's like, I'm gonna have a shit ton of questions and I'm gonna need answers to them, then join the community. Enrollment is open this week. I'll post the link later tonight. I'll send it over in the recording. Join with a group of women who are doing this alongside of you. You're going to be in your own group. The women who joined in last June, they're in their own group. Twice a month, all of the groups are going to get together for a Wednesday call. So Monday is the founding members. Tuesday is going to be everyone who enrolls during this week. And then every time I open up the workshop and I open up enrollment, then we're going to have another group. And each group is going to have their own day. So it's not like you're going to be starting with women who have already been in this 3-4 months and know what they're doing. You're all going to be starting yourselves together at the same time. We work through the steps of the process, and not just with the phone calls, but with the modules. If you never got on the phone calls, all of the modules of the Starve, Kill, Detox protocol are in there, step by step by step. There's a library, there's a marketplace, and all the recorded Zoom calls. There's all guests. We have guests twice a month. We have limited series on the guests who we absolutely freaking love, and we want more of them. They come in and they do a 6-session series, and we really dive deep into topics like joy is the medicine, the feminine reclaimed. Oh, last week was busting midlife myths about sex. The number one thing in this group is joy, because you cannot do all the pieces of the protocol unless you are experiencing a level of joy. And I know, I would say the same thing. You're probably saying, I can do this without joy, Janine. I've done my entire life without joy. It's not just for that reason. The other reason is, and we're going to talk about this more towards the end of the week, the signals that leave the brain, the signals that leave the brain are vibrating at a frequency. That frequency has to be vibrating at a certain frequency in order for your signal to take the detour. Your brain is always taking detours. So if you don't have the use of your legs, arms, whatever, it is because the signal is not getting through. And that is not because the nerve has been severed. It's because the frequency is so low, it's taking the path of least resistance. And in that path, there's a block. That block is either from a lesion or a ball of negative energy that you have been holding onto since the original trauma happened. While we work on releasing that trauma, the brain goes, we need a detour. And it wants to create the detour. It creates the detour, but the signal cannot take the detour until that signal leaves at a certain frequency, and that frequency is higher. It's joy. It's closer to joy than it is to fear down here. And that's another thing that we talk about in the group, is the emotional scale, where you are and how to increase the frequency so that your signals can get from point A to point B without any blockages, and you begin to move again. And that's why I asked the girls if they would post any kind of whatever they wanted you to know about what goes on in that group. So I have a whole thread. I'm going to take screenshots and send it over to you this week. Let me know if you have any questions. You can reply to the email tonight if you have any questions. Just give me some time to answer those on the email, but I definitely can answer them on the live call tomorrow. So feel free to do that. The homework has been posted at 10:30. If you want to be entered into the drawing, tomorrow's drawing, to win a $20 Amazon gift card, answer the homework question. And that question is, what was your biggest takeaway from today? What was the biggest thing that you learned from today? And just post that answer. What I'll do tomorrow is I'm going to print it out and cut them all up, put them in a basket. Actually, where is it? That basket right there. Right there. It's mirrored, so it's weird. And I'm going to pull out a name, and that person's going to win a $20 Amazon gift card. Now, at the end of the week on Thursday, I'm going to put all the homework entries together and then mix them all up and then pull one out, and you will get a year membership free into the MS Rebellion on School. I'll give you more information as the week goes, but I don't want to overwhelm anybody on the first day. So today was, why are you having symptoms? Well, you're having symptoms because you have the Epstein-Barr virus, and that virus is living in your spleen and in your liver, and we need to clean it out. We need to kill it, and we need to clean it out. So tomorrow we're going to start on the protocol, phase 1 of the protocol. And remember, in the MS Rebellion in school, honestly, you can just go in there. It's a 7-day free trial. You can go in there and get all this information on the protocol and get out in 7 days and never be charged anything. And no, I don't mind at all. This information is for you. It's for your body. We're meant to heal. We absolutely can heal. We need this information, and I'm doing everything that I can to get out in front of as many people as I can reach and tell them, you don't have to be sick. You do have choices. You can heal. I figured out a way, and I will show you how. So yes, all this information is available to you. All right, everyone. Actually, I have to get into school now. We have our call today. Any questions? I can't wait to hear them, and I will see you in the group. Thanks for joining me today, and thank you for your patience with my technical difficulties. I'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow.